I caught my wife, F34, not being honest with me, M34, about something, and now for the first time in our relationship I don't think I trust her. We have been married for 2 years but together for 9. Basically not long ago my wife got a new job after leaving her old one and going back to do a master's in something else. I was obviously happy for her and supported her through all this, but recently I was on her LinkedIn looking at a post she made and saw that one of the comments on it was from an ex-friend of mine. I haven't seen or heard anything about him for years, but I looked at his profile and he works at the company my wife now works at. I asked her about it and she pretty much played it off, saying yes, she thinks he does work there, but that didn't make sense as they're connected on LinkedIn and he's leaving comments on her posts, so she must know he's there. This led to her coming clean that she had met him at a wedding of one of her friends back in December. I couldn't go. They remembered each other and got talking, and she obviously mentioned her looking for a new job, and then in January he connected with on LinkedIn and said he could help her get a job where he worked. She never told me because she knew I would be mad that she was in contact with him. The guy was an old friend of mine from college, and then he cheated on his girlfriend who was in our mutual friend group with another girl from our friend group who was also in a relationship with another one of our friends, so it was all a big mess, and completely destroyed the group. This happened not long after I met my wife, so they didn't know each other well, but she definitely saw and knew the impact of what he had done. Now she would be right in thinking that I wouldn't exactly be happy that she's in contact with him, but I would also not try and get in the way of a job opportunity for her either, and I would have thought she would know me well enough by now to know that. Her explanation also doesn't really fit, as she said she met him at the wedding in December and then he contacted her about the job in January. Why didn't she tell me she'd met him the day after the wedding when she came home? I can't get these intrusive thoughts out of my head about if she kept this from me. What else is she capable of hiding? Like about 3 weeks ago she went on a work night out and I went to sleep at about 1 a.m. and the next morning I woke up and she wasn't in bed. I came out and she was asleep completely naked on the couch. At the time I thought it was kind of funny, but now knowing this I think it's weird. She's never done that before. She said when she told me that they have a strictly work-related relationship, but like I said in the title, I'm struggling to trust her. This post is already longer than I intended, so I'll finish. Apart from not telling me about the ex-friend, am I being crazy feeling this way? I have a terrible feeling in my gut and I don't know what to do. I'm on the verge of looking at her phone. Any advice would be helpful. Thanks. TLDR. My wife kept from me that she met an ex-friend of mine, has been in contact ever since and now works with him. Update. I caught my wife, F34, not being honest with me, M34, about something, and now for the first time in our relationship I don't think I trust her. Hey everybody. Just wanted to start by saying thank you to everyone who took the time to respond to me, and sorry if I haven't written back, but the amount of responses have been overwhelming and I have a lot on my mind, as you can probably understand. I sat on everyone's advice for a few days but decided all the cloak and dagger stuff wasn't for me, and I just sat her down and confronted her on it again. She maintained her version of events and we weren't really getting anywhere, so we agreed that she would go and stay with her parents, which is where she has been for just over a week now. She is coming home this weekend to try and finally resolve this. What she doesn't know yet, or at least what I hope she doesn't know yet, is that probably against my better judgment I contacted him and it went as well as I should have expected it to go. It resulted in him telling me they did have a sexual relationship, but it's over now. I asked him for proof, which he didn't provide other than 2 pieces of twisted partial evidence which aren't concrete but if true are horrific. I'm hoping that the fact he didn't provide actual proof, and that if he did have a relationship with my wife he would have told her we had spoken and I would have heard from her about it, is a positive sign. Also, I want to add that after speaking to him again, he's still the horrible and probably sociopathic prick he showed himself to be back then, and I wouldn't be surprised if he was lying to me. I'm going to say to her in person what he told me when she comes home this weekend. Edit. Well, I'm not very tech savvy, but I did what people suggested and put the picture on my Mac in the Photos app, and it says at the top February 23rd, 8:23. So he's full of shit about the picture being on the day I met my wife for lunch? Comments. I guess I view all this stuff very differently from some of the other commenters. I would not do any detective work. I wouldn't bother verifying the evidence. All that. Relationships are based on trust. If I'm texting the dude that my wife went on a date with, the trust will never come back for me. That's weird territory, man. What is going on? Texting a guy who went on a date with my wife. Nah lol. If my wife goes on a date with someone, there is no getting back from there. We have an amazing relationship, so we respect it. No doubt my wife has the same view as me. We don't get into gray areas on this. It's simple. We've been married 10 years together, even longer, and I feel lucky every day because of what we have. I understand others will choose to get over the infidelity. Full kudos to them. I respect their magnanimity. But it just won't work for me. I've had open relationships and I respect anyone who has that setup, of course. But for me, monogamy is a binary thing. My wife and I are committed and I can trust on that. It matters, amongst other things in our relationship. If she goes on a date, it would be so far out of bounds. It doesn't matter what happened afterwards. It's too weird. Only she and I go on dates. It's special to me. Whether we grab tacos or we go on a vacation, it's just us on dates. Anyone else? I would know the charade is up. Monogamy is just words we said to each other after all. No laws or physical enforcement. Simple trust, which is now gone. These questions are excellent, and y'all are giving good advice. But I'm just saying to op, if you bail now, honestly bro, no one would blame you. This sucks.